The Northern Virginia you know today will be completely different by the end of the year. 10 massive developments and over $9 billion investments are about to transform everything from healthcare to the transportation industry. But what most people don't know is that these developments, even the ones years away from opening, are impacting lives, in some cases, changing them. As you know, my name is Chris Colgan, your go-to Nova realtor and your insider for all news and information. By the way, if you were thinking about buying or selling a home, I am a realtor here. We would love to keep putting out amazing content for you. Email me info@colganteam.com, info@colganteam.com, or text me anytime if you are thinking about buying or selling a home. Let's talk about these 10 crazy things coming to our area. All right, so we gotta talk about my favorite thing to start here in Northern Virginia's housing market. It is seeing some important shifts in 2025 that could dramatically impact your buying or selling decisions. So let's take a look at what's going on and the inventory, prices, and what it all means for you. First off, according to Northern Virginia Association of Realtors, active home listings reached 1,980 in March 2025. That's actually 63% up from March, the same time of last year. The average sold price hit $904,000, up 8.3% year over year, and homes are staying on the market for about 18 days on average, and the median sold price rose to $755,625, up 3% from last year. Because of that, NVAR's 2025 housing forecast projects that Alexandria will see the highest single-family home price growth at nearly 10%. We will see continued moderate price growth across the region, and these are strengthening market conditions overall. Not only things are looking better now than they used to the point that Northern Virginia is actually outperforming national trends, which really surprises a lot of people. I think a lot of people were shocked when the Trump administration came in and they thought it would totally upend our whole area. I'm not really seeing it. Now, of course, we do have some people getting laid off, of course, obviously, but inventory is finally increasing after years of shortage. That's actually a good thing. Buyers need choices to look at and not feel like they're being pressured, and be happy at the end of the day of what they're purchasing. There are more balanced conditions developing between buyers and sellers, and the market is stabilizing with mortgage rates. However, although this is all great news to us, there's something that you got to consider. Markets can always change, and they always do. And if we were to understand these predictions are true, right? And they do think the markets are going to get better, we need to look at what is motivating that. And I think these projects are having a huge impact on our housing market. All right, so the first two we need to talk about are going to bring some much needed attention to the hospitals and healthcare in general for our region. Let's talk about the new iNova Springfield Hospital. That's where one of the biggest developments in healthcare in Nova's history comes in, and it's exactly what Fairfax County is getting. This isn't a soon-to-be started development either, and you will not see the benefits for years yet, right? But construction actually broke ground in October of 2024. The first phase is actually going to be a 110-bed inpatient facility, an expanded emergency room, and new patient out services as well. The hospital will be a full-service medical center expected to create hundreds of healthcare jobs that will increase values in the area. It will improve healthcare access significantly in Fairfax County in general as part of iNova's broader expansion across the Northern Virginia area. You can see how projects like this are going to transform communities for the healthcare and the local economy. And as we know, the baby boomers are getting older, and they're going to need plenty of healthcare options in our region. You might be wondering why you should care about a hospital if you're perfect and healthy and tip-top shape like me, right? But even if that's the case, and I sincerely wish that is, properties within a 2-mile radius of new hospitals developments typically see price increases of upwards of 15 to 20%. I mean, think of all the new jobs that a hospital brings in, right? Doctors, staff, surgeons, the nurses, everybody comes in there, rad techs. It's going to be higher than the broader market over the next 5 years if you're within 2 miles of one of these hospitals. That's because hospitals bring in its high-paying jobs, additional retail, improved community infrastructure to the area, which means a benefit for you, even if you're not to step foot in one of these new facilities. But iNova isn't stopping there. They aren't building history once, they're actually building another brand new hospital. It might be in your area. So before we talk about all the millions being poured into our region's transportation, let me tell you about the old landmark mall in Alexandria. This site was practically empty for several years. Now that is all about to change because Inova is building a state-of-the-art medical campus that will do so much for the area. Listen to all these details. Just to start, we're talking about a $2 billion redevelopment project, and check this out. According to AlexandriaNow.com, 675,000 square feet will be a hospital building, 110,000 square feet will just be for specialty care center, and 130,000 square feet brand new cancer center. And just like in Fairfax, think of all the jobs this is going to create for Alexandria. Development also includes residential, retail, and commercial space, and there's additional projects including multiple parking garages, green spaces, and integrated public transportation options. I mean, Northern Virginia, we always need public transportation options. Now, while this construction timeline goes from 2024 to 2028, essentially this project is transforming a dead retail space into a thriving healthcare and community hub. This is part of the trend you'll start to notice with the rest of the developments across Northern Virginia, reimagining outdated spaces into modern mixed-use sites that serve everyone. By the way, I have a ton of videos just like this, and I dive into neighborhoods all across Northern Virginia. So if you want to know the latest news, things to do, what's happening in your area, home prices, definitely subscribe to my channel. We put out a ton of content like this. And by the way, like I said, if you are thinking about buying or selling a home, definitely email me info@colganteam.com. So now we can talk about Northern Virginia Transportation Authority projects, right? So there's gonna be plenty of those going on. So let's get into the bigger issue for our region. Obviously, with return to office being over, it's going to be traffic. But this section is not just about how it is now, it's about how it will be. And let me tell you, the future is actually looking a lot better here in Northern Virginia. NVTA has adopted a $696 million 6-year program to address from 2024 to 2029. The money will go into 24 multi-modal transportation projects across the region. Some of the major improvements actually include transit expansion, roadway enhancements, rail improvement, new bicycle and a walking path infrastructure as well. And then there's a Richmond Highway Route 1 widening project that is going to expand from 4 to 6 lanes across a 3-mile stretch, improving safety and reducing traffic congestion, which we all know Northern Virginia and the DC area can be a nightmare. This will support economic vitality in the corridor and enhance different means of transportation as well, real options for all residents in the area. These projects are designed to support economic growth while improving mobility. So what these projects are all doing is more than just reducing commute times, because they are better connecting major development hubs. They create corridors of growth around them, and the smart investors definitely will capitalize on that. But if you're looking to make a move in the real estate market, it's our next developments that you should really be looking into, be it an investment or a brand new home. Two of them are the big elephants in the room, really huge tech developments that will reshape Nova forever. But this next one is something completely different and out of the character of Northern Virginia. I absolutely love it. So if you watch my podcast, you know that I had Buddy Reiser ahead of economic development, and that was a really popular podcast. What he told me was his favorite project of his whole career is going to be Rivana at Innovation Station. You can think of it as entirely a new city in Northern Virginia, complete with homes, offices, shops, and parks, all built from scratch with today's technology and lifestyle needs in mind. Rivana Innovation Station is a $3 billion development that wants to change the way we think about urban living. This time we're talking about 103 acres located at the intersection of Dallas Toll Road and Route 28. This development will include 8.5 million square feet of total development, 30,700 residential units, 3.5 million square feet of commercial, which we really need in Loudoun County, and 500 hotel rooms. This will be directly connected to Innovation Center Metro Station Retail Village with 260,000 square feet in commercial and retail space, featuring parks, trails, clubs, and a performing arts venue that promises to create a second downtown outside of DC. This is designed for a work, live, play lifestyle, and you really do not need a car if you're going to live at Rivana Innovation Station. The first space should start to break ground anytime between summer of 2025 this year or fall of 2025. As opposed to other developments that are already pre-existing locations and giving them a new purpose, Rivana is creating an entirely new urban center design around metro stations. This transit-oriented development model is what many experts believe will define the future of our region for good, potentially making our areas like this incredibly valuable in the future. I definitely think this is going to be one of the key developments that Northern Virginia has seen in a long time. And that metro right there is perfectly sitting, right? Like you've got Dallas to the going up a little bit further east. You've also got Rest in Tyson's Corner. You can go right into DC. The location is absolutely incredible. So if you're a big public transportation person, this neighborhood will be absolutely huge. And the potential for large appreciation values is not just exclusive to Rivana. The next area of development, which also follows the trend we say before, has everything to do with a little known company by the name of Microsoft and Bill Gates, if you ever heard of them. And let me tell you right now, despite the millions they put down, this is not even close to the biggest investment in Northern Virginia right now. But here's the deal. Microsoft just made one of the largest land purchases in Northern Virginia history. They spent $462 million for 124 acres. Man, I actually wish that I had owned that land, but it's actually the old rocket testing site that was right off of Linton Hall Road. That's $3.7 million per acre. But what matters most is not the purchase of the land itself, but what they're actually planning on doing to it. So you guys know one of my favorite places to go is Jiffy Lube Live. This lot is actually right next to it. The entire campus is 124 acres of that former military site. See, like I said, repurposing ground. And the reason for all this is 3.8 million square feet of data centers focused solely on AI, 5 buildings with 300 megawatts of computing power, on-site substation for power needs, and air-cooled chillers for sustainability. Also, what I really like about this project right here, they can have college-style classes on AI and data center technologies and advanced training facility. This will create hundreds of high-tech jobs and reinforce Northern Virginia's position as a global technology hub, especially considering it's not even the only development of this kind in our area right now. The bottom line is that Microsoft investment represents Northern Virginia's evolution beyond government jobs, becoming a global AI and tech powerhouse. I mean, just think about it. What happened to Seattle when Microsoft grew there, or the Bay Area and Silicon Valley with Apple? That's kind of the transformation that we could be talking about here for Northern Virginia. And like I said, Microsoft is not the only big tech company making things happen here in Northern Virginia. So really popular company, Micron in Manassas, Virginia. I've sold a ton of their employees' homes. They're actually doing a $2.17 billion expansion right in Manassas. If we run up the numbers to say Microsoft invested $500 million, Micron said, no worries, I'm going all in and place $2.17 billion worth on the table. And when one of the largest semiconductor manufacturers decides to move money like that, it's really a big deal. So if Gainesville is not for you, Manassas just might be. So what are we talking about? Micron Technology is expanding its semiconductor facility as part of a broader $3 billion investment to be completed by 2030. This will create immediately 340 new high-skilled jobs, a project that is backed by $275 million from the Federal CHIPS Act funding and $70 million in state incentives pending approval. It will serve as Micron's center of excellence for long lifecycle products, which support applications in automotive, aerospace, and defense, and producing advanced DRAM memory chips. I hope I said that right. Virginia Talent Accelerator Program will offer customized workforce recruitment and training. And with this whole expansion is part of the national strategy to bring critical technology manufacturing back to the United States. This will make sure we don't depend on foreign providers and also generates wealth of work and production locally. And Manassas for residents will be in a prime position to take advantage of everything that's coming. And not to mention, all these developments will be boosting local businesses, housing demand, and overall community development for sure. All right, so one of the best gas stations in the world because they have the cleanest insides and great food. It's going to be the lovely people at Wawa. Now get this right, they're going to go all in on Northern Virginia. I did some research and dug it up because I was actually really excited about this. Wawa, the beloved convenience store chain, is significantly increasing its presence in Northern Virginia, aiming to become a staple in the region's daily life. Listen to this. Targeted growth. Wawa plans to open approximately 20 new stores in Northern Virginia as part of a broader initiative to add up to 60 locations across Virginia over the next decade. Now, the places that they're going to be looking to add these new gas stations are going to be Arlington, Fairfax, Loudoun, and Prince William, as well as the cities of Alexandria and Fairfax. Wawa is collaborating with McLean-based real estate firm Rappaport to identify sites. They prefer like 1 to 3 acre pad sites and accommodate both convenience stores and fuel stations. Then obviously they will also have the Tesla charging stations. The company intends to open 2 to 3 new stores a year in Northern Virginia for the next several years. And like I said, they're going to be putting 20 new Wawas in Northern Virginia. Comment below, are you a Sheetz person or a Wawa person? All right, so I had the incredible opportunity to be invited to media night over at Nova Live, what it is now called, and this is absolutely amazing. I think it's going to be huge for our area. So if you've ever been over to Black Sheep or Two Silos, you used to be called Farm Brew Live, where they've now changed the name to Nova Live. This is going to be absolutely incredible. So you now have the brand new Malarkey's distillery there, and then to the side you have Proof Kitchen and Bar, and then in the back they actually have this really cool catering area as well. So I've gone to Proof, I've gone to Malarkey's. Like I said, they invited me to opening night, and you can literally walk right over to Two Silos or Black Sheep. They are both really extremely popular for the state of Virginia. And then they are also building a brand new hotel in the parking lot. So they're going to be doing a lot of weddings, events, like all kinds of different things. I would definitely check that out. Bellagio has definitely really changed the game for Northern Virginia. That is like one of the most popular spots in all of the state of Virginia. I really loved Proof Kitchen. It's got this cool like hotel style feel to it. And then Malarkey is really nice, open space as well. They also own the Sweeney Barn down the street as well. So they are doing some really cool things for our area. And keep in mind too, eventually Manassas Airport is going to have commercial travel as well. They're just waiting on FAA approval. Now, obviously with all the federal government things going on with layoffs and all that, let's slow that process up as well. But I think there's going to be a lot of amazing growth over there for the city of Manassas. All right, so now we're going to talk about Manassas Mall. Now, we all know Manassas Mall has needed help for literally decades. I mean, even in the 90s when I went there as a little boy, you'd go to Aladdin's Castle. They did have like McDonald's, Chick-fil-A. They actually had a movie theater. We went there one time with my grandfather and my dad, because one of their airplanes was in a movie called Primary Colors with John Travolta. So I just like have a lot of good memories there. But the mall obviously changed throughout the decades, which of course every mall in America has, right? But a new company come from Miami is actually taking over, and they have proposed a development. Now, it hasn't been approved yet, but I'm sure the county is trying to sign as fast as they can to redevelop that area. So they're actually going to keep the original mall there. So that's going to be there, but they're going to be adding 1,041 multi-family residential units, 47,000 square feet of new commercial space on 3 parcels adjacent to the existing mall. And then they're actually, like I said, they're going to keep that current mall structure and try to bring in some brand new stores as well. Now, this is going to be a long-term project because there's all kinds of office buildings coming in, things to do. And like I said, 1,000 homes. This could be done over the next 10 to 15 years, but I definitely think that our area needs some housing right there in that 20109 area of Manassas. When you go through there, some of the housing was built in the early 60s or 70s, and we just need some new housing. That's also a great location as well, because you have Ashton Avenue, and Manassas and Bristow are kind of connecting. I kind of wondered when someone would do that. I honestly thought it would be a data center. I think the county actually did a good job fighting that off, and they allowed the mall to be redeveloped into something else. But like I said, it's still going through planning and all that. I think they've gotten, the planning commission said, hey, go ahead. We actually think it's a great idea. And then it has to go up for the voting. But I mean, if they shot this down, I would be completely shocked, because we all know that mall needs some major things done to it. Now, one thing, guys, like I said, I'm going to be keeping my eye on is the commercial flights in Manassas, Virginia. I'd actually met with Avports, who's actually taking over the original terminal there, and they're going to keep building onto it. But what happened was, right, you had the crash at National Airport. You have some other things going on with the FAA due to the Trump administration's layoffs. That's actually delaying the process, I believe. They haven't come out and really made any announcements. Not that I've talked to them or anything, but I definitely think that's still going to happen. It's still in the works. I think that's going to be the biggest transformation for our area, right? Like, I know the FAA, after what happened at National, is going to want some more options to take some of that travel away from National Airport. Now, keep in mind, too, these are going to be big airplanes. They're going to be Boeing 737s going in there. So you're going to be able to go right into Manassas, jump on a plane, fly to Orlando, Dallas, Texas, pretty much all these cool places, and you won't have to go into DC or the huge Dallas airport. This is going to be more of a regional, local, national airport. So I think that's really going to be huge for our area, but let's definitely keep our eye on that. On my Instagram at Chris Colgan Team, I will definitely keep developments going on about that. And you can actually watch the podcast where I talk to Avports about everything coming at that airport. So obviously all kinds of exciting things are coming to our area. I will keep doing videos like this. I also do videos where I talk about our area, things to do, the best places to live. We've sold over $1 billion in real estate here in Northern Virginia. We know the DMV. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, definitely shoot me an email, info@colganteam.com. I recently did a video why I think Northern Virginia will be the next Silicon Valley. Definitely check that out. I'm going to link in the description below, maybe in one of the comments. Watch that video. Let me know what you guys think. And like I said, smash that subscribe button. If you know anybody thinking about buying or selling a home, we would love to keep putting out awesome content like this for you. So definitely refer us over at info@colganteam.com and hit that subscribe button.